welcome. My name is Trish. Thank you so much for joining me today for the May predictions. Today is the 28th of April. And I'm hoping to get these predictions up by the 29th of April. So they could start happening as early as the 29th of April through to the end of May. I am going to go through some of the other predictions and let you know which ones have happened. Some of the big major ones that have come up in the reading last month that have actually happened during the month of April. My name is Trish. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm a card creator and a card reader, and I'm using my predictions deck. You'll see this deck around the world. Many different psychics are using this deck. I love it. I love the accuracy of this deck. I've been doing the predictions, as I said, for over a year now, probably 18 months every single month, and the very good strike rate on the predictions actually coming true. So they are quite powerful cards. All of my cards are powerful, especially I probably made over about 30 decks. There's only been about 2 that didn't have that power in them, and I just scrapped those ones. So, but most of my decks have a really good, powerful communication about them. It's part of the process when I'm creating them. So I do love them. I love these decks, and I love to do these readings every month. So I just want to welcome all the new members that are here on my channel. Thank you so much for joining me, and welcome. Thank you to all of the regular subscribers that tune into these readings or any of my readings. I love your comments. I love your likes, and thank you so much for subscribing and supporting my channel. I do try to get through as many messages as I can, but I am busy working on a couple of new decks at the moment, so I do have a lot going on right now. I've got some beautiful new decks in the works that I'm working on. They'll take a little while to produce, to create, but some beautiful, powerful downloads have been coming through for these decks that I've been using and putting them into a practical approach. So powerful energy, powerful philosophies coming through, but putting them into a very practical way of reading with them. So I'm really excited about what's coming and the beautiful downloads that I have been getting. So I want to I'm going to put links down below for where you can purchase my cards, especially these ones are very popular. You'll see them around the world. Lots of psychics are using them. Also links to my membership is where I can give you member discounts for when you're purchasing cards, also holding and reserving decks for you, and I can also give you first dibs of the new decks that come in. So that's the perks of being a member. You don't have to. It's not a requirement. You don't miss out on anything. I don't hold or back readings or anything for members only. I just give you perks, and it's so I can get a better control of making sure I'm looking after members and subscribers where I can. So thank you so much for joining me. Let's get into this reading. I'll quickly run through some of the predictions that happened last month. Now, first of all, straight off the bat, on the top of last month's predictions was the rulership handover between an IT or science company. And we had straight away the 23andMe saying that they're going to sell to another company, and people were worried about the privacy of their data. So, and that is a kind of techie industry as well as a science industry, so, and involving trying to sell off to another company. So interesting, and that one happened straight away. They also said that the royals would be in the headlines over the month, but they could be hiding something. We did see Charles go into hospital very briefly for a adverse reaction to the medication that he was on. So I feel that one happened. Now I'm just going off the top of my head with some of these predictions that there was a lot of talk about. It felt to be Ukraine and Russia, and like ceasefires, and then others preparing for more weaponry and continuing war. So there was a lot of that information going on. Now I haven't researched that one, so I don't really know what's going on in that area. So but that was one of the predictions. A lot of heavy energy around Ukraine and Russia during the month of April. Also another one that happened, I said that there would be the warships were coming up in home enemy in home, like, so it would be like I said, the Chinese warships in our waters, in home waters for Australia. So they were there the month before, and I said they might be coming back, or they might be continuing. Well, they did come back, and they were mapping out the apparently mapping out the submarine cables around Australia. So whether they were sourcing information through their surveillance or whatever they were doing, but they were there. So and then they went quiet. We didn't hear anything further about that. So I'm not sure what's happening with that now, but that was another prediction that happened. Another prediction that happened was the Pope passing. Now, he wasn't in my April predictions, but he was in my prediction that I done a couple of months ago. So maybe the end of February, early March it could have been, when I had the dream about the Pope. I was waiting under the crypt, like under the Vatican, where the bodies are in all those little arched rooms that just have the displays of the different past popes, and I was waiting under there for the Pope to arrive. Now, they weren't showing me his face. I could only see the back of him, so I couldn't tell which Pope it was, and I was waiting for an announcement back then. This is back a couple of months ago, prior to him going into hospital. I was coughing in the dream. Like I started coughing, and then I got out of there. So I like astral traveled back to my body. So yeah, that was interesting, but he did pass. So I don't think he passed of the pneumonia, but he was not well for the last few months. But that prediction dream that I had happened prior to any of this information coming out on mainstream about him even being sick. So I knew, and like when I saw that he was sick, and especially the pneumonia with the coughing, I thought, well, that makes sense. But I was waiting in that crypt kind of area. There is a grotto or something, or there is a name for it, for the arrival of the Pope. So I did have a feeling that he was passing. So, but he held on. He held on for quite a long time during his sickness, and he endured. So that was another prediction that happened. Now, I haven't checked back with the yearly predictions, because them ones have been steadily happening as well. But I am now going to, there was lots of other ones in the predictions from April, but I haven't really researched them or anything to see if they had, but they were the big ones that happened. Now, I also put the predictions as they happen in the community page. Not always. I don't always get to it, but it definitely makes it easier for me to go back through and see what's happened, especially when predictions happen at the beginning of the month and I forget about them. So it really does help me if I put them there, but I don't always get time to do that. So anyway, I want to thank everyone for their support, and let's read today with the predictions deck. This is the world predictions. Put aside all the energy from the April predictions, and I'm going to focus on what's coming up between now and May around the world, making headlines, big events. Hey, welcome back. Now I'm just starting with the first cards up the top here. I have got the battleship or warship, corrupt dealings, and drone strike. Now I'm getting around this one here. I did pull some cards to see if there was any location they were giving me, and they're giving me North Europe. They've also just said Africa has popped out, but North Europe cards has come out. I'm guessing that's probably Ukraine or Russia, but it says more corruption around that battle. Maybe corruption will be revealed, maybe more drone strikes. So maybe corruption when it comes to the drone strikes may be revealed, or there may be more of it occurring in the month of May. But that's the cards there. So the battle warship could be just talking about a battle, or we could be seeing the corruption that's been taking place within this battle, because we have the corrupt dealings, or somebody being corrupt and going against that ceasefire that they had with drone strikes. So I feel maybe there's no escalating tension cards that's coming up here, but we're seeing battles, corruption, and more strikes, and North Europe. So I'm guessing that is Ukraine and Russia. Coming down the bottom now, we've got this energy here around new rules and policies in a big city, for a planned outcome to control the narrative. Now I'm going to pull a card here because I would like to know what industry or what kind of changes, policy changes are, for a little bit more information Okay, what kind of new rules or policies in the big city are we looking at here? What area? What industry? What are these new policies? Hiding underground. This is a royal card, royal family. It was just sitting on the top there, keeping things quiet or going into hiding. Tunnels, people underground, new policies and rules in a big city for a planned outcome to control the narrative. I'm not sure what this one's trying to say. Any more information on this one, please make it clearer. Okay, trying to get control of the situation, it feels. Making plans to try and get a better control of whatever this situation is. Okay, actually, an energy weapon. So energy weapons could be like battles. Now I'm just going to pull a card here from my governance deck to see if I can get any further information there. What is these new rules, new policies? Because these cards do represent lawmakers, they represent sovereign rulers, they represent leaders and politicians here as well, and new policies, things like that. So let's see if we can see kind of what area this is in. A bit more information on this, please. New rules, big city, planned outcome, control, narrative. Money involved. Fundraising, economic growth. Collective action of the people. That's really interesting. So somebody very determined, they've got their own, someone very determined with a selfish kind of agenda when it comes to collective action, power of the people, trying to control a demographic of people here. They've got the planned outcome, trying to control the narrative though around their plans when it comes to collective action of people. Now it can somehow is connected to economics and maybe a succession plan. What comes next after this? Now maybe they're trying to hide something because something hiding or underground, but this could be related to people hiding or trying to stay low, so they're not it's giving me vibes of immigration. That's giving me that kind of vibe, even though I'm not seeing the normal immigration card here, so it could be something completely different. Just doing a skim of the cards over this particular prediction here, something in a big city, a new policy, making plans. They're trying to get control of the people or control the narrative in some way. People, because it's control people. This is the collective action of the people. People want fairness, people want justice, but they're trying to get control of this narrative here, kind of control the situation, planning as to what they have to do, but it could somehow be related to keeping things quiet or in hiding when it comes to the movement of certain people, certain demographics of people. Now even energy weapons could be involved here. So maybe something could happen around that situation that involves an energy weapon of some sort, but they're really trying to downplay or control the narrative. So it's hidden. Even it's hidden information. They're keeping it quiet. Now, I don't know why. I don't know if this is El Salvador. Something around El Salvador here, but I'm thinking trying to be underground in hiding and keeping things quiet, but new policies also being made for this. People protesting or people getting upset about the situation. So this is collective action from the people, but something may happen when it comes to energy weapon. So something could happen to highlight this information or around this situation. So yeah, very interesting. I'm not sure, I kind of have a little gist of what that could be, but I'll leave that there. Okay, sitting on its own, we have the sinking ship down the bottom. So a sinking ship down the bottom. Okay, so down now we've got some really other interesting cards here. Let's see, well, let's get into the next ones over here. Now what we have is got something around social media, heavy burdens, somebody copying a lot of crap on social media. So I would say related to rockets. Now this is Elon Musk. So it's either Elon Musk receiving heat on social media around heavy burdens, or somehow connected to Elon Musk's social media, which is X. So that could be it, but it could also be the Blue Origin launch that happened in April, that maybe they've been copying a lot of slack about that on the internet, on social media. They're carrying heavy burdens because of it. The people that went up, the females that went up into that rocket, it's somehow connected to a rocket. Now I know that's old news, but it's saying there's changes or changing the story, or there's going to be a little bit of backstopping around that story. So it's one of the others, because we've got the Elon Musk rocket card, either taking heat on social media, carrying a lot of heavy burdens around his social media or him on social media. Changes are coming, but there's a little bit of backstabbing going on surrounding Elon Musk. Backstabbing or betrayal going on around Elon Musk. Otherwise, we're going to start to see more coming out around that Orion message, that Blue Origin launch. Maybe there's going to be a bit of backstabbing that happens there, changing the story a little bit around that to take the heat off themselves, and a bit of backstabbing going on there. Now I'm just going to pull one here because I would maybe like to see if it's which one of the two it could possibly be. So releasing more information. Still doesn't tell me which one, because this could be Elon releasing information about something that he's been looking into, or it could be more information coming out around the Blue Origin rocket launch. More information coming out there. There may be a little bit of backstabbing going on, or a bit of betrayal going on, but change is coming, and that's either Elon Musk looking in and releasing information, or that's more information coming on that rocket launch, the Blue Origin with the Katy Perry. Got currency or banking over here, assistance being needed for the greater good. Now this could just be people with interest rates, mortgages. Maybe there is a bit of help coming. Maybe we're going to see some. We have pretty bad economy here at the moment in Australia. We've had our first rate drop over. It's been months and months of continual rate rises when it comes to people's mortgages, but we can see there's a little bit of assistance or help coming for the greater good. That's the people in the area of banking and currency. So that's good news. Good news on the horizon when it comes to economies and interest rates. I feel could just straight up be banking and currency needing assistance in some way. Maybe we may hear about a bank, but because it's got the greater good, I feel like it's more connected to the people. So the currency of the people, related to bank, and finally getting a bit of relief or a bit of assistance coming around interest rates, I feel here. So that's a good reading. I'm just going to leave that one where it is. Now down the bottom here, we've got somebody joining forces around disappointing outcomes when it comes to food shortages. So there's something around food shortage in one of the countries, trying to get help from another, or assistance coming from another country or another somebody else, but without much luck. It's a disappointing outcome there. So that's a little one. I'm just going to leave that one there. This here is very interesting, what's over here. Now over here, this card was the last one to fall out. It says deep fake technology, and I don't know if it was meant for this pile here or if it was meant for this pile here. So if this was on this pile, we would be looking at deep fake technology when it comes to that Blue Origin launch. So I haven't actually done a reading on that one, but this card, when it fell out, I thought, I wonder if that's meant to be over here on this one here. It was the last card to fall out. So maybe we might be looking at some kind of deep fake technology when it comes to that mission, that launch. Now over here, over on this side, now maybe it's for both, because sometimes the cards will do that. So if it's for both, what we've got going on over here, there's going to be some kind of big news, feels sciencey environment. We've got tests taking place around environment, so environmental toxins, testing the waters, testing the air quality. It's kind of environmental in some way. Releasing and exchanging, maybe in the medical industry or the way things are done medically, or coercion and manipulation. So maybe it's current policies around coercion and manipulation in something that is to do with medical advancements, replacing those policies or exchanging the way things have been done when it comes to coercion. Something being a test or experiment here, and then something being toxic, full of toxins. Now, it may not be environmental toxins, it may be toxins in our body, but it says it's big news. So I would see this as something you would see on rabbit hole reading, something you'd have to dig for, something around maybe the pandemic that we had when it came to, especially here in Australia, there was a lot of coercion that took place. People were forced into their medical treatments. We've got medical information, or they were going to lose their job. So there was a lot of coercion around that. Now we're replacing or exchanging something to do with that, or something similar to that, around toxins. So maybe they're going to remove toxins out of certain medical vaccines even. So maybe toxins are going to be, they're removing or replacing it. So toxins are being removed. Something being an experimental test, or it's still in the experimental or test phase. So maybe we're going to hear about some kind of new technology, new kind of treatment. Could be for cancer. It could be but here we do have the manipulation, but that makes me think about vaccines. So, but a medical advancement, replacing or exchanging the way things are currently done. Something to do with toxins in the body, targeting toxins, could be cancers, some kind of toxins in the body. Still in the experimental or test stage that we're hearing. Maybe there's a breakthrough. Not seeing breakthrough in any of these cards, but it could be somehow connected to all of that. But this card here was, as I said, was the last one to come out. Deep fake technologies. That's why I'm feeling like maybe it's not connected to this pile, it's connected to this pile here instead. Just see if there's, I'm just going to take a little look for any natural disasters. Over here, cyclones, tornadoes. I don't know if we're even in tornadoes or cyclone season in any country, but we've got both the cyclone and the tornado card, which is pretty much the same thing but different. We call them different things in different countries. Lies and deceptions. But there will be a lot of damage done that affects many people. Money will be required to for support and assistance, which then could come down into this section over here. Joining forces for food shortages. Okay, so I'm going to leave that here. Let's see how we go with any of those things. Usually when I do the reading, I think, I don't know if any of these are going to actually happen, but then they do. So yeah, this is another one where I think, I don't know if any of these are going to happen, but we'll have to wait and see. So